Welcome back to my channel, guys. I'm Mariam. If it's your first time seeing me, hey, welcome to my channel. Today I am doing an eyebrow tutorial and I'm so excited about it because not only am I going to show you this fancy brow that I have on my face right now, I'm also going to show you some do's and some don'ts, some common mistakes that you often see people make when it comes to filling in their brows. I hope you learn a lot. Let me know what you think of this video. Comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Give me a like. Let's get to this eyebrow tutorial, do's and don'ts. First thing I'm gonna do for both brows is brush them out and up. On my bad brow, I'm just gonna mess it up because a lot of people forget to brush out the brows. For my current brow routine, I like to use the Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil in shade 5. What I like to do first is very lightly and gently outline the basic shape of my brow using this Goof Proof pencil. I'm just gonna etch out a straight line from the inner portion of my brow all the way to my brow arch, kind of like this. So it's not super straight, but it's just touching the roots of my brow hairs. Also going to extend the tail of the brow just a pinch, kind of in the direction of hair growth, and I'm going to lightly, very lightly fill it in, just in the tail. Now this Goof Proof pencil does have a spoolie on the other end. You could use that to blend that out using upward strokes. The mistake that most people do is outline very heavily. They will start at the very inner portion of the brow. They will use full force, kind of like that. Now, at first glance, this looks kind of good, but this is a very waxy pencil, which is very, very pigmented. When you actually try to blend it out, it becomes not such an easy thing to do. Then what I notice people doing is outlining their entire brow shape using a pencil like this, and then filling it in. This to me is a brow no-no 101. It just looks super scary. I know we want to fill in all of our sparse areas. The problem is when you apply this much product to a brow that's already full like mine, it becomes really, really difficult to blend it out. Plus it becomes super heavy in this portion here. The heaviness of the brow actually weighs your whole face down, making you look older, making you look angrier, and just not so happy with life. Do you see what I mean? To avoid that, I actually never ever use a pencil to fill in my brow. First of all, it wastes a lot of product. Secondly, you end up looking really scary and mean. So for that, I like to use Benefit's Foolproof Brow Powder. And this is in the shade 5, so it's got two tones, a warm brown one for the inner portion and a cooler one for the tail. For my good brow, I'm gonna use this number 6 brush from Doll 10. It's actually my favorite brush for the brows. I'm gonna take the lighter brown shade and I'm gonna fill in my good brow using upward strokes in the inner portion because I don't want this to be too blocky. I don't want it to look like that. I want it to still imitate hairs. And then I'm gonna use the darker powder and I'm gonna fill it in a little bit more solid in the tail end, which is where I want the most definition. I'm going to continue brushing it out, blending out the product, and filling in those areas that are still a little bit too sparse, like right here in the arch. So on my bad side, I'm going to show you another thing that people do wrong with powder. Dark powder, especially cooler powder, it's actually really meant for just the outer portion of your brow. Most people don't realize is that you should never, ever apply it to the inner portion. That just makes it even more solid, scary, and blocky. And yes, it's true, some people can get away with using cooler brow powder on their brows to fill them in. Usually it's people with black eyebrow hairs, like me, or someone of a deeper complexion. This just looks so wrong on so many levels. I'm scared and I haven't even gotten to the tail. So you guys know feather brows are the new big thing in eyebrow trendy makeup. So what I like to do for that is use this tiny little marker from MAC. It's called the Shape and Shade Brow Tint. I like to use the shade Spiked. It's actually a cooler tone. And what I like to do is draw little fine brow hairs all the way across the width of the brow. I do think that makes the brow look a little bit more natural and also a little bit more current. And even still, once I've done that, I still like to brush it out just a little bit because I don't want these strokes to be too fake looking. I like to brush it up in the direction of brow hair growth and kind of just blend it with my natural brow hairs. Now, some of the mistakes that I've seen with this type of application is that people will literally start drawing these crazy, almost cut looking brows. In my opinion, there's just no way that that could look realistic or natural. Just looks absolutely crazy. And then when you start seeing people applying this to the inner portion of the brow, it just starts looking really werewolfy. So the next thing that I always notice people doing wrong, especially on Instagram, is that they take concealer, just any old regular concealer, like this one from ColourPop, and they just go in super heavily under the brow, over their little brow hairs, and do that. When you actually try to blend this concealer out, you start realizing that this is way too much product and it's just impossible to get in this super fine, delicate area here. So you end up creating a big fat mess. So instead, what I like to do is take a flat brush like this. This one is from Wayne Goss. And instead, just pick some off the concealer wand and gently, very, very gently, clean up this area. And yes, it does create a very, very chiseled brow that looks really good on Instagram, but not necessarily in real life. So that's why you want to make sure that you use minimal product and make it look as realistic as possible. I also sometimes see people surrounding the whole entire brow area with concealer. In my opinion, just makes the brow look really cartoony, and I'm not gonna do that because we have the little wolfies happening here. So I'm just gonna take my beauty blender and I'm gonna press down on this line to sort of subdue it while still creating that nice clean edge. To set my brow, I always like to use Maybelline's Clear Lash Mascara, and I just like to brush these eyebrows up and kind of just glue them in place. Now the mistake of this particular step is to not apply it at all and just lead with this hot and sexy unset brow. So what do we think? Yay or nay? So I definitely had to remove my ugly brow from my face and I had to redo my eyebrows because I was getting tired of looking at myself. It was making me just a little bit nervous. This is what my fancy brows look like with the makeup on. What do we think? Are we into it? Are we not into it? Also guys, comment down below and let me know which of the mistakes that I've showed in this video are some of your most hated ones. I think mine is definitely the concealer all around the brow. That one just makes my skin crawl. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out some of my other videos right here. I will see you guys very soon. Mwah.